Hey, it's Tamara, your dating coach. So glad you're here because you want to learn how to attract and keep the woman that you want. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the things that will keep her and attract her. 15 ways you can attract and keep the women you want. 15 ways. So you're not going to be a master at all of these ways, but you are going to catch on, and you're going to catch a lot more women that really attract you, make you happy, that really are quality women. Like, you're going to attract different types of women when you start practicing these 15 things. This masterclass could be the difference between you meeting her and missing her, not even noticing her, or she might not notice you, and dating her once and dating her long term. So you know your patterns, right? You're in the same cycle of dating the same type of women, or the cycle is you just have a lot of first dates or first and second dates. We're going to try to get you out of that cycle today. You know you're doing something wrong, but you don't know what it is. That's why there's the long list. That's why there's 15. Of course, we all make mistakes. We're all human beings, but there's some things that aren't a fundamental part of you that if you changed could be the difference between keeping someone and just losing them really quickly. And some of these things, you don't realize they're important. So sometimes you do them, sometimes you don't. But through this masterclass, you're going to learn what's critical and what means a lot to a quality woman. So let me put my 8 years of dating coaching experience to work for you. My 30 years of relationship research, 20 plus years of experience working with clients in mental health, 2 master's degrees in counseling. You don't need to waste another moment. Let's dive into this and get you the happiness and love that you deserve. Okay, number 1, let her see your confidence. This is huge. That's why it's number 1. She needs to see this, or you're going to get friend zoned. Confidence comes through practice, right? You're just not automatically confident in skiing or snowboarding, right? Or rock climbing. You have to go out, learn the techniques, practice, and then it's that repetition that makes you just feel confident about it. Your confidence builds the more you do it and the more you practice. It's not going to be automatic. And if it's been 15 years since you've dated, it is going to take you a while. There's nothing wrong with it. Your confidence will build over time. So once you are starting to feel confidence, you want her to be able to see that. So jump right in. You can't start practicing unless you jump right in. So approaching women, flirting, there's different ways you can gradually build into that and get into that so that you're not just like a deer in headlights when you begin. But with that repetition and that practice, you're really going to get brilliant at it. And part of your confidence comes with age because you learn that you know how to learn. You know how to do new things. I'm confident because I know that I've mastered all these things in my career, with my family, with my friends. I have all these other skills. And your confidence just comes from, I know how to learn and master new things. Seeing you confident gives her a sense of safety. Safety is number 1 for a woman. If she doesn't feel safe with you, she's out. And that might not even get you friend zoned. That just is usually, she's just completely out. She either ghosts you, she disappears. Well, and then of course you're attracting the wrong women, right? The kind of women that ghost or deceive you or use you, right? A woman's first focus, and I mean chatting online, texting, phone call, getting out of the car, all of that first layer is safety. When she feels safe, then she can let her guard down and start to get to know you. Confidence is never cocky. No one likes cocky. You don't like cocky, right? And cocky just means she's never going to be number 1. She's never going to be a priority because cocky means you're the priority. So if people tell you that you are cocky, try to dig into that or talk to a coach, talk to a counselor to try to figure out where people are getting that impression. Because if you genuinely feel like you aren't cocky, then you've really got to dive into that more and figure out what it is you're doing that are giving people that sense. Most genuinely cocky people like it that they're cocky and want to stay that way. So but women don't like it, and it's only going to attract a very, very small percentage of the population. Yeah, and it's probably not someone you want to date. Confidence is sexy and it's so attractive. It's one of the top things. After safety, confidence is one of the top things that a woman looks for. So that's why we are going to work on that. And in the Dating to Connection program, we work on that so heavily. Because confidence for you is not only going to get you the woman of your dreams, but it gets you the promotion, it gets you more friends, it just helps your life feel at ease and gives you peace and contentment, which makes you even more attractive. Number 2, be a gentleman. Women love a gentleman. That never goes out of style. And this is women of all ages, right? When you're a gentleman, that makes her feel safe, back to safety. And you're demonstrating that right away, though. You're demonstrating that through text, chat, phone, walking through the restaurant. There's so many ways that you can demonstrate that. Being a gentleman shows her that you want to take care of her, that she's safe and protected. It's romantic. Women love being romanced. Just a little tiny gesture of you putting your hand on the small of her back as you pass through the restaurant, holding the door, helping her on with her coat. Those are really tiny, small things that really are wildly romantic and sexy. It makes her feel special because you're taking those little moments to do those things for her. And guess what? She's really attracted to you. Number 3, thoughtful conversation. You want to get to know each other. You really want to have intriguing, interesting conversation, and conversation has an ebb and flow, right? So be an active listener. That's eye contact. That's saying something reflective back to her, asking additional questions. Ask questions to keep the conversation going. Look, the conversation is always going to die out and it's time to move on to another topic. So ask her something else. That's why I came up with a list of conversation starters that you can ask me for, and then I can email right over to you. Because you want to have 2 or 3 of those extra intriguing ones in your back pocket, because likely if you've already talked on the phone, which you better talk on the phone before you ever go out on a date, it's better for everybody. You've established that initial connection. You just broken the ice so that once you get to the date, that conversation will naturally ebb and flow. But you want to have those extra 2 or 3 intriguing questions once there's a lull, or you just think, gosh, I just want to know more about her. And that'll show also you're being a gentleman, you're being thoughtful, and you're confident. Reciprocate. When you ask her a question, then share back about you. She might be nervous and not ask you. Like if you ask her about the sports your kids are in, share about your kids and what their interests are. She and you are likely nervous, especially if this is one of the first few dates. You just don't have enough footing yet. The foundation's not there. So make sure that you keep the conversation going by sharing about you too. You don't want to get to the end of the date and go, oh, I really like her. I learned so much about her. I feel like such a connection. And she goes, yeah, that was pleasant, but I don't know anything about him. She might not go out with you again. I don't want that to happen to you. So number 4, have those intriguing questions in your back pocket. Not literally, but of course, if you want to write them down, then you go to the men's room, get them back out, look over your list. Feel free to ask about your deal breakers. Now, you've already learned about some of them by just reading their online profile or those initial conversations. Ask about anything else, right? That's a great time to ask. And phrase it in a gentle way, but make sure that you do end up getting your answer. Because if they're evasive, then you kind of want to wonder why they don't want to answer the question. So it depends what it is, but smoking, no smoking, ages of their kids, asking them where they work, that's not a deal breaker, and that is an invasive question. So make sure what you ask is appropriate, right? Because remember, safety is number 1. You don't want to be asking her about where she lives, her address, her part of town, her, place of employment, nothing too specific that makes her nervous. Hopefully you've got her phone number now. You've had that phone conversation and you've been texting, but that should be, nothing alarming to her, because she can always block you, right? If she's not going to need to block you, but if she knows if she can, if she needs to. But make sure the questions you ask are fun, flirty, or something that you really need to know, like a deal breaker. Ask any other questions that you have that you're just dying to know. Like she said something intriguing in her profile and now you want to follow up and ask her. That shows her you paid attention, you remember, you want to revisit an interesting topic, something that you talked about on the phone. That shows you're really thoughtful. And remember, this is not a job interview. The purpose of the first few dates is just to decide if you want another date. No pressure. Not, is she going to be a good stepmom to your children? Is she somebody you want to take to the Christmas party? Be flirty, playful, and just have that banter back and forth, right? So she has a good time. And you want to have fun too. Purpose of the first 3 dates, just to decide if you want another date. I want to say that again because so many people put too much pressure on those first few dates, and then it feels like pressure. It feels like a job interview, and then it's over. So keep that perspective, right? Just keep it lighthearted, flirty. Number 4, show her you are open to a relationship. If you're a relationship-minded guy, you need to be going out with only relationship-minded women. Quality women want to actually know that you are open to a serious relationship. I want companionship. I want friendship. I just want to see where it goes. I don't know why people are so obtuse about that. I understand not wanting a woman to feel pressure. Like, I want marriage. You don't need to do that either. That's going all the way to the other end of the spectrum. So make sure you stay in those normal parameters. But why should she waste her time on you if you don't know what you want and you're not sure what kind of relationship you want? You want her to feel secure in your confidence that you know who you are, that you know where you are at, and you know what you're ready for. So make sure your energy is open. So this is something you've got to do right before you get out of the car. And I mean every single time, or any time that you think you might meet someone, like before you go into the grocery store, before you go into class, before you go into, even work if you have a crush on someone there. So make sure that you sit in the car, take some deep breaths, you center yourself, and you think about her. You think about how you want the date to go. You think about your intentions. So you're in the right place. You're not thinking about work, your kids, the million things you got to do, your nerves. You're thinking about her and what you want and need out of this interaction and how you guys are going to have a great time. So you want her to feel like you genuinely want to get to know her, that you're open to a relationship, that you are there and present with her. You're not distracted. You really want this to continue. You want another date after this. And if you're not sure, that's okay. Just have a good time on the date you're on. Leave that final decision until later that night after you're home and you can process how it went. Don't even put that pressure on yourself during the date. Do I want to ask her out again? You don't know? That's totally an okay answer. She might be thinking the same thing. This is a great time, but no connection. You might be right on the same page there. You also want her to know that you've made room for her in your life. If you sit down with her and tell her, I've got this and this and this and this and this and this and 3 careers and 20 kids with 100% custody, oh my gosh, she's ready to get up and leave the table right then. You want her to know that you've got time. And if you do have a full and busy life, like most of us do, tell her, I know I sound busy, but I will make the time. I want to make the time, and I will be dedicated when I find the right woman. I really want to be in a relationship. You need to say all that out loud, right? Or she just won't go out with you again. She's going to be afraid that you don't have time for her. You really won't ever get to a committed relationship, and that she won't really ever have a chance to get to know you. I mean, no one wants to be put on the back burner and just be that occasional movie or dinner companion. So make sure you're open before your phone call or date starts. You need to turn off your phone, right, and your notifications. Now, let's say you're on duty, so to speak, like your children are at home, and you need to be accessible. Just explain that. Say, I'm so sorry, I've got to have my phone out on the table. I have my children today. No problem. She will completely understand because likely she has kids too. Attend to anything that will interrupt your time before you go in there. You're in this really cool conversation with a buddy. Yeah, tell them, I'm going into a date. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Snip anything off that likely will interrupt your date. Button things up so your mind isn't racing about everything you need to do after the date is over. So let's say this is a lunch date. You've got to sit down before you come into the date and put all that aside. You've got to compartmentalize things, or she is going to feel like you are, she's going to know you're distracted. You have a million other things to do and a million other places to be. You never want a woman to feel like she's an imposition or an interruption. Take deep breaths before you go in through the date. If you find yourself getting nervous, if you find yourself distracted, or you just don't know where to take the conversation, excuse yourself, go to the men's room, or just sit in the booth at the table, take some deep breaths. Just recollect yourself so that you can be present. Number 5, have an open mind. Oh my goodness, I really hope that you are not wrestling with appearance qualifiers. You want to give her a sincere chance, not focusing on her height, her appearance, what you think she's going to be like in the bedroom, what you think she's going to be like with your kids. It's really sad for me when I see guys disqualifying women in the first 10 minutes. And if you feel like she's doing that to you, first of all, you could be wrong. She's not doing that to you. But if you feel like she is doing that to you, you have the whole rest of the date to change her mind. Attraction does grow with time. You've seen that with people. They start out friends, their high school friends, or their college, roommates or whatever. And eventually it grows into more, or some time passes and things change or dynamics change. You just never know. So if they're a quality person, don't give up in those first 10 minutes. Don't give up after one date. There has to be some big reason that you don't want to go out on another date with them. It can't be chemistry, because somebody, on a first, second date's just nervous, right? And they might not be putting that out there, or they might have been distracted by something. They might not be following this advice to put all their distractions aside before they enter the date. They might have come in with all those on. Then they're not themselves, and you're not getting a true sense of them. So give them another chance. If what is turning you off is not a deal breaker, stay open. Stay open during the date. Don't shut it down. Don't get up and leave. Really keep going and just seeing. Maybe you have more connectors. Maybe you have more things in common than you think you do. You don't want to lose someone amazing just because of an old mindset that you have. Make sure that you're sitting in your current mindset. Number 6, expand your preferences. You know what I mean by that. Check out that picture. Height, weight, eye color, whatever other, artificial things you might have in your mind. We all have a natural type. I totally get that. But does that really mean anything? And a woman that you perceive as being 15 pounds, 20 pounds overweight might be able to kick your ass because she works out, and maybe that's muscle. Or maybe she's really strong, or maybe she's really athletic. You have no idea. Don't judge women by what you guess you think they're going to be like in the bedroom, at the gym, their level of ambition. People put really unreliable photos on websites, for instance, if you're looking at those. People put terrible photos up because no one likes to take pictures, and they have their kids take them, or they're just relying on selfies, or people just don't rely on them because people do not have pictures that are really good and reflect their personality, right? Yours are probably not that great either. So everyone has a type, but open it up. You deserve a lot. You deserve real love. And maybe the only reason you don't have real love yet is just because you're still looking for this really, really, really particular type. The last thing you want to do is miss out on somebody incredible because of something, silly like their height. And I'm guessing you don't like it when someone does that to you. So no guessing about their sex drive, their athleticism, their hobbies. You have to ask those questions. And if someone seems really intriguing to you, but one thing seems off, why not just talk to them and get to the bottom of that one thing? Wondering about her lifestyle? Just ask her. That's fun, intriguing conversation. Another thing that's really sexy, knowing what you want out of life, out of a relationship. Do these exercises in writing, because studies show that when you write things down, it has a huge impact on your brain, your memory, and it just impacts your whole journey moving forward. That's why journaling is such a thing. So write out your deal breakers. Yes, you need to write those out because I want you to see them in writing. Do you have 25 deal breakers? Yeah, that's too many. Do you have 2? That's not enough. You really need to sit down and think this through. So I don't want your deal breakers from you when you were 25. I want your deal breakers from right now, what's real in your life right now. Like love to travel. That might not have been a thing when you were 25. Maybe it is now. Maybe location wasn't a big deal back then because you were free to move. But now you need to stay anchored to your children for a few more years. So location does matter to you. Write them down, because then later when you're trying to decide who you want to continue dating with and you go down your deal breakers and she's got 3 of your deal breakers, a deal breaker by definition is it's over. So make sure they're real and true for this point in your life. Number 2, write out what you need in a woman and a partner, right? So these are beyond the deal breakers. So these are things that you need. I need someone that's respectful, kind, loving, loves kids, whatever your characteristics are, loyal, honorable, fun, great sense of humor, those are things that you need. Like loves music. Is that really a need? It depends on what your love of music is. Do you need to love the same kind of music? Do you really need a woman with your same political party? That's for you to decide, but just make sure once you've got your needs list down, then when you start dating somebody, you're looking over your deal breakers list, you're looking over your needs list, and that determines whether or not you continue the relationship. Alrighty, what do you want? Number 3, write out what you want in a relationship and what type of relationship you want. Is it casual? Is it casual monogamy? Is it friends with benefits? If you're watching this masterclass, you want a quality woman with a long-term relationship. But write down what you think you want and then elaborate on that as much as you can, because she's going to ask you. And not only that, but you're going to want her to know. Even if she doesn't have the courage to ask you, you're going to want to explain it to her. You're going to want to tell her. But until you sit down and really think it through, it's hard to articulate it when a woman puts you on the spot. So just make it easy on yourself and do that. Number 3 also. You need this information because she's going to ask you what you're looking for and what type of relationship you want. And after this exercise, you'll be able to answer confidently. What scares a woman, and we're back to safety again, is dating someone that's not confident in this answer. She needs to know that you're certain that you are ready. This is what you want. And then she can move forward with an open heart. Moving ahead with somebody that was like, well, I think that's too scary. So a quality woman that's confident isn't going to put up with that. She's going to say, you're amazing. Call me when you're just, at a more confident place in your life with what you want out of a relationship. The great thing too about knowing what you want out of a relationship is number 2, you need to know for yourself so that you can disqualify all the women that want different things. There is no point in you going out with somebody that wants a casual relationship. There is no point in you going out with somebody that's in an open relationship, casual dating, casual monogamy, doesn't know. They're not in the same mind space. And think about in all the ways that you've gotten hurt in the past. You just didn't want the same things. And of course, you're attracting the wrong kind of women. Number 8, be honest. Honesty is so sexy, and she can tell through different things that just happen through natural conversation if you're being honest or not, and that builds trust. What's more important than trust, right, in a long-term relationship? It's important to be clear and honest in your online profile, text, call, date, and during the relationship. Being open, vulnerable, communicative, that all really matters, because the more you build trust, wow, your relationship can really skyrocket to a magical place. Start out truthful. So if you've got instant trust, wow, not only are you sexy and attractive, but you've got trust and you're starting to build that foundation. Oh, she's really going to be excited about you. This means not withholding information too. That if you were her, you'd want to know, make sure you say all that also. You work a particular shift. You have your kids only 20% of the time, but that's all summer. You have 6 dogs and they all sleep in bed with you at night. So whatever that's unique in your life that makes you special, interesting, and fascinating, but also might make you not a good match. Why not let her know, like in the first few dates, maybe not your first date, but in the first few dates, so that if that is a deal breaker for her, why waste your time? Your time's really precious, and so's hers. So So you don't need to divulge your whole life story. That's going to scare her away. You don't even need to do that on the third date. Okay. But if she asks you for information about a really difficult topic, like why your marriage ended, information about your ex, have you ever cheated? Have a short answer prepared on those first few dates. So you don't need to go into the whole story. Have a 2 or 3 sentence answer, concise, honest, that answers her enough. And then you can say, you know, I'll tell you the whole story sometime, you know, after we're further down the road, but you know, I just want, you know, I'm happy to tell you, you know, kind of the synopsis of what's gone on. Then she has the answer. She has the down and dirty about what happened, but you don't need to go into great detail because that's way away. That's a dark place. That is not playful, fun, and flirty. And you don't want it to go to that dark place. If she starts going on about something, though, certainly feel free to listen and honor what she's saying. But then you can change the subject, you know, whenever the opportunity arises and you feel like it's appropriate to change the topic to something more lighthearted. Because she probably doesn't realize she's in that dark place or she's belaboring it, and you'll be rescuing her by getting her on a different topic. Talk to women. Do you realize the importance of number 9 here? The more women you talk to, the more your odds increase, or the odds of blind dates or making other connections. You're just going to get so much more out of your dating experience. You have to talk to women. You have to approach them. I can't tell you the number of examples I have where I'm out and there's just men lurking on the perimeter watching and staring at women all night and don't ever approach any of them. And there are certain men that I see out all the time. I think they're just out every night because they happen to be wherever I'm at all the time. It's just really strange. They never speak to anyone. So, of course, they're missing out on all these amazing women or just having a good time. Whatever happened, just having fun conversation. Everything doesn't have to lead to a date. So you want to meet someone the old-fashioned way? That means you have to approach a woman. I hate to tell you this, but times are not as modern as they would seem. I mean, once you get out of college, women do expect a gentleman. They expect him to approach. They expect him to pursue. And yes, they will reciprocate. The minute you walk up to a woman, she is chatty. She is talking. She's giving eye contact. And if she isn't, then you know right away, you know, that she really doesn't want to be talked to. She's too busy, or she's with someone, or she already has a partner. So just take the chance. I know it's rejection, right? If it doesn't work out, but isn't it feel awful to just stand and watch other people holding hands and kissing and having a great time and you're standing there by yourself? That's so much worse. So I know you're worried about being creepy. That's what every man has ever said to me. I can't approach a woman. It's creepy. Not unless you're being creepy. It really isn't. If you just make conversation and chit chat, how is that creepy? Walk up to someone, right? If she's in a hurry, that's not a good time. So do look at her body language, right? You are still the one that has to approach for almost all women, 95% of women. So just decide, I'm going to do it. It's my job. This is my role. Walk up to a woman, and the way to not be creepy, ask a question, ask for advice. Do you know where this is? Comment about the parade, the festival, the music, the produce aisle. Just chit chat. And if you want practice with this, chat with the cashier, chat with the neighbor, chat with random women at work that you don't know. Chatting with just people in general kind of builds your confidence that you can make just regular chit chat. And then once you see an attractive woman, it won't be so daunting because you've been practicing this, or maybe you're already good at this at work. And so this is no big deal, but you won't be creepy because you're not doing anything creepy. You're not asking anything creepy. Recognize her from online. Oh, that's even better. I just walk right up to them, or people will walk up to me and say, I recognize you from Match or whatever. Love that. Then you can talk and have real conversation. And then you can even say, why didn't we ever go out, or what happened, or whatever. Likely, neither one of you will remember, but it will be a really fun conversation. And then if it goes well, ask her out to coffee. If she's free right then, go right then. But make sure you get her number early enough in the conversation. So if she gets busy, her number gets called, she has to rush out. You've got it. You've got it. And then you can text her and ask her out later. Yes, this is tough. Yep, it's agonizing. Yes, you are going to get rejected. Do it anyway. I mean, really, really, what is the big deal at the end of the day when you think about what the payoff could be? Intimidated? Oh, yeah, you're in great company. 95% of the men I've asked if you would approach a woman said no. And the only people that said yes were in sales because they do it all day. They've already built up that confidence and they're already used to rejection. That's all you need to do. Practice, be confident, and be okay with rejection. So if you would prefer to meet a woman the old-fashioned way, which most people would, this is what it's going to take. To make it less painful and become a habit, because habits aren't painful, right? You do them all the time. I work out on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I take out the trash on Tuesday nights. I walk the dog every day at, this time. You just do it. You're just like a robot with those things that are routine. So make this routine. Start with women you know. Talk to 3 women a day. Start with women you know. Start with women at work. Start making general chit chat. And then start with my goal when I go out tonight is to approach 1 woman. And then move it up. Maybe that won't, you'll be so inspired that night after you approach 1 woman, you're going to change your goal and up it to 2. But gradually, you're just going to increase that because it'll just be like if you're in a dance atmosphere, like seeing live music. Yeah, it's a lot easier to approach someone. Everybody's open in a good mood. They're at the festival. They're at a fair. They're at, a street party. That's when they're open. That's when it's not creepy. Everybody is open to socializing right then. So maybe start out in an easier environment like that. The grocery store might be intimidating, but a street fair, not so intimidating. People are just milling about, chatting, having a good time. Now, a woman that you notice is in a hurry. Her kids are crying. She's busy. Not a good time. So just assess that first. All righty. Yeah, I know that was a lot. Number 10, clean out your baggage. Yep, you're carrying a backpack just like the rest of us with stuff in it from your past. You are carrying baggage because you're a human being and you've been through a lot. So you are in control of what's in that backpack, though, and how much you want to carry. You were not born on this earth to carry that big, huge, heavy backpack and let all the other people that have hurt you in your life have that power over you. Do not give them that power. The more you have in your backpack, the less you are ready for a relationship, and the harder your future relationship is going to be because your backpack and all the junk that you choose to keep in it is carried into the relationship. Your emotional baggage comes to the surface, bam, in any stressful situation. And when you start connecting with someone in relationships, yes, you're vulnerable. There are going to be difficulties. There are going to be things that you disagree on or you have a conflict. You do not want to throw your whole backpack on her when you really could have just ditched it, right? Dealt with it, sought counseling or talked through things with the coach. If you've got a huge backpack, though, like you're carrying lots of stuff, that's therapy and counseling. Examples of signs that you are carrying a lot of baggage, which would hurt, not only is hurting you, it's hurting you every second of every day, but it would also hurt her too. And we talk about this a ton in my Dating to Connection course because you've got to unload the baggage because whatever vibe, right, with the huge backpack, what kind of vibe do you think you're emitting? Your vibe determines who you're attracting, and your vibe also determines who's attracted to you. Who can you see with these big, heavy, emotional baggage goggles on? You are not even going to notice the right woman for you when she walks by until you start to unload that. And she sure as heck is either not going to notice you or run for the hills. Okay, anger comes quickly. Is that a sign maybe of yours? You put walls up once you start to connect with somebody. You try to keep her at bay so she doesn't see the real you. You don't want her to find out about these things. You get fearful when you find someone you like because you don't want to lose her. You push women away that you like because you don't want to get rejected. You get defensive when you're talking through initial. Do you feel like, oh, you just want to blow up when you start talking because you don't want to be wrong or someone made you feel inferior in your past? You still hate an ex. Oh, that means you haven't processed it. You haven't dealt with it. You haven't let it go. And you look, you want to look at the real reasons that your relationship has ended. So are those in your backpack? Are you at peace with the reasons that those relationships ended? So take a careful look at that list, because maybe you want to stop dating for a while and really focus on lightening your backpack. And my Dating to Connection course can really help you do that too, because there's a lot of steps, not just in building confidence, but working through things that are going to push quality women away and keep them at bay, sabotage your relationship, and keep you from moving forward into that true, loving, long-term relationship that you really want. So you deserve peace and happiness. You don't want to carry that backpack for you, because the lighter you are, the more at peace you are, the more confident you are, the happier you are. Oh my goodness, the more sexy and attractive you are. That is so sexy and attractive. So you want to start a new life with someone new. How do you start over with that full backpack? You want to start emptying your backpack so you have an open heart for someone? Remember, that backpack is so heavy, it's squishing your heart, your vibe, your energy. If you don't start to empty your backpack, not only will you continue to suffer, but you will never find the true free-flowing love that you crave. Take action. You can take my program. You can see a counselor, a therapist, depending on how big your backpack is, but start to unload it. Really, you deserve love and happiness. Do not let other people from your past take your power. You are in charge of your power. You are in charge of your backpack. Show her who you are, because you want someone that genuinely loves you for you. And I know that's intimidating for someone to really see you and actually love you, but that's only fair to her. And how fun is that to just be yourself, be upfront, be who you are, laugh and play, and really just get into the relationship like you really want to. Be the true you. And if you are walking around with insecurity, uncertainty, you have your backpack on, you have this huge cloak over the true you, the magical you that's under the cloak, she can't see you, right? Even if you try to show her, you have this huge cloak of stuff on, and that's what my program's all about. Let's unleash you. Let's get rid of that cloak. You deserve to have someone see you and love you for who you are. Besides, she's going to figure out who you really are anyway. And I know you might be scared of that, but she really does. If she has an open heart and she is ready for a long-term relationship, she wants to love you for who you are. If you discover you aren't a good match, you know you gave it a real try, right? If you put yourself out there, then you know that you were sincere and you did the right thing. Imagine it ending with someone, but they never saw the real you. She ended it, but you really cared about her. You really liked her. And your one regret was she never saw who you really were. Oh my gosh, you don't want that to happen. She might have really liked the real you. She might have fallen for the real you, but you'll never know the answer to that question. Most women won't give a second chance. Be authentic, be vulnerable. Again, scary. Women love that. They want you to be open. They want you to share and talk and not like emotionally vomit all over them, because that takes time. You want that to naturally progress, because those first few dates are supposed to be light and flirty and fun, and just to determine if you want to keep getting to know each other. But intimacy and connection comes from sharing about who you are, what you love, what your passions are, what do you really care about, what are you really looking for, what kind of relationship do you want to develop, what do you like about her. Yeah, definitely the way to a woman's heart. Number 12, spotting red flags. Oh yeah, you would have saved yourself a ton of time right in the past if you'd been better at this. And again, we talk a lot about this in the Dating to Connection program, because the truth is, I do not want you wasting any more time. You've got your deal breaker list, you've got your needs list, and you've got your gut instinct, right? Which hopefully, as you're unloading your backpack, your gut becomes more accurate. So when you're getting to know someone, you naturally look for red flags. She is too. Now take them seriously. When you get caught up in chemistry and romance and emotion, it's really hard to sit down and consciously sit at the table with yourself and think about what's really going on. What does she really have, right? Does she have any of your deal breakers? by definition, it should be over then. You need to end it. Are you going to reconsider that deal breaker? Regularly look at your deal breaker list and your list of needs. So they are top of mind, okay? Look at your needs, not wants. You want her to be a mountain biker with you. That'd be lovely. Is that really a deal breaker or a need, though? I mean, you've got to think all these things through, because you're subconsciously potentially cutting a lot of women off that you could have a great future with over something seemingly small, right? And again, she's going to do the same thing to you. So you might need to keep saying, yes, I love to mountain bike, but I will always have time to date. I will always make time for you. This is, not something that would take the place of my love relationship. So here's what I want you to do. This is conscious dating. And this is what's going to save you from wasting weeks or years of time with someone you don't have a future with because you got caught up in chemistry and she feels like home and she feels like I've known her forever, or she's my mom's friend's kid, so we should date. No. Sit down at the table with a pad and paper every 2 weeks with your list of deal breakers, your list of needs. Does she have any deal breakers? Yes or no? Because those kind of come out over time occasionally. Does she meet the needs on my list? Well, as your relationship evolves, right? 3 months is a big marker, 6 months is a big marker, 9 months and a year are big markers. So maybe she does in the beginning, but not now. Okay, that's why you're going to take yourself out of the romance for a minute and sit down with that paper and pen and really reason through this. Yes, it does feel calculated, because it is. You need to really be certain that she's somebody you want to continue to spend time with. What red flags do you see? Okay. Should I keep seeing her? You need to go through these 4 items every 2 weeks. And as you go along, I want you to keep taking this process seriously, because if you do fall in love with her, this is going to feel contrived and ridiculous. But it isn't, because the romance and love is what keeps you trapped in something that isn't going to go anywhere. It keeps you trapped for months or years. I don't want you to do that to yourself. Finding a long-term relationship with someone wonderful requires conscious dating. You need to be awake. Of course, you want to get all caught up in the romance and the chemistry. But if you're just dating subconsciously, you've already done this bunches of times, that you've caught up with the wrong woman and you realize all this time passed, but you knew month 1 that she had these deal breakers or red flags, and you dated her anyway. You stayed with her anyway. Okay, she's a great kisser. Great. Find another great kisser that has all these other things that you want with no deal breakers. Okay, so do that exercise with your lists every 2 weeks, even after you fall in love, even after a year, and you're thinking about really taking the relationship to the next level. When you realize she isn't a good match, you've got to let her go. Just be honest with her. And the longer you're together, the longer that conversation, right? Because she's going to want to know why and what happened and why it seems so sudden. But it's the sooner you let her go, once you have that realization, it's kind and respectful, right? You would want her to do that for you. You don't want her to stay with you just because it's your birthday or because it's awkward or she doesn't know what to say. You'd want her to end it. So grieve that love, the loss of that relationship. And then when you're ready, don't start casually dating then to fill the hole. Grieve, get over it, and then open your heart back up to love when you feel like you're ready. Pace yourself. Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe the number of men that just scare women away. And there's a lot of ways that men scare women away by going too quickly in a few different areas. Okay, you're falling in love. Yay. Is that in 2 days? Is that in 2 weeks? No, don't tell her you love her in 2 weeks, because you don't. It's not real love, and that's going to scare her. We're back to safety, remember. You don't know her well enough. I don't care if you've lived with her for 2 weeks. You're not in love with her yet. Even if you've spent every day, 24 hours a day, it's just not been enough time. And you don't want her to think that you're impulsive, that you just want someone, not necessarily her, that you don't really know how to regulate your feelings. You don't know how to articulate your feelings. So going too fast is going to scare a quality woman away. So here's some things that will seem too fast if you do not wait a reasonable amount of time. And we get into this more in my program. I'm not going to put the timelines on here, but having sex can really mess everything up. You guys already know this. You sleep with someone, then you realize she has all these red flags, and then you end it, and it looks like you used her. You sleep with her, now she has your address, she has access to all your stuff, your information, she saw your garage code, safety issue, and legal issue for you. Sex messes everything up because it creates an artificial hormonal bond. There's a lot of chemicals that are released in your brain when you have sex with someone, and you orgasm. That creates artificial intimacy that isn't there. It looks like you can't control yourself. It looks like that you don't have respect for her. Just don't do it. And when you do have sex, of course, use protection because you don't want to be saddled with that afterwards either. Okay, saying you love her, you've got to make sure you know her well enough to say this. Do you actually love her so you don't scare her away by saying it too soon? Inviting her to your house. Why are you thinking about inviting her to her house? I can't tell you that almost every man makes this mistake on the second date. Do you want to come over so I can make you dinner? You know what that looks like? I want to get you into bed. And 2, I'm too cheap to pay for another date. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Yeah, stop it. You should not be having her over until like date 6 later on. You need to be able to trust her, and she needs to be able to trust you. And the truth is, when she comes to your house, I don't care how strong you think you are, the affection is going to get carried away. I'm not saying you're going to sleep together, but it will. You're going to end up making out. Things are going to go too far. And you're in a really like vulnerable environment that lets both guards down when really in the beginning, you should be putting your best foot forward, having that conversation, getting to know each other, and not launching right into playing house. Yeah, it does not make a good impression. Taking her away on a trip, unless you're in an exclusive relationship, you have no business taking her away on a trip. And when you ask her to be your girlfriend or to be exclusive, you need to mean it. Do you know her well enough to even make that invitation to be exclusive? Introducing her to your children. You shouldn't be picking her up, first of all, for the first 5 dates, because again, it's a safety thing. She shouldn't be getting in your car. And a woman that wants to get in your car on a second date, that's a red flag. After that, though, if you come pick her up, because again, I know you feel like you want to be a gentleman and that's the gentlemanly thing to do, you can wave to her kids. It is not time to meet her children. It is not time to take them out. It's not time to go camping. It's not time to create any sort of bond until you are in love, you are in an exclusive relationship, and you both feel comfortable with that. Taking her to an intimate event like a wedding or a funeral, oh my gosh, you need to be a couple for this too, because all the family is going to be talking about you, who it is, your relationship, how you met, and that is going to feel so sincerely awkward unless you've been together a long time and are an exclusive couple. Asking her to be exclusive, make sure that you're just certain. You have a mad crush on her. I get that wild intimate chemistry, the romance in the beginning, but make sure that it's really a good time for that. If it's your second date, please don't do that. You look desperate. Timelines is another thing we talk about at length in the Dating to Connection program because it's really important. You want to start the relationship off on the right foot, and you do want to follow those wildly romantic impulses, but you want to do right by the relationship at the same time. So slow yourself down despite all these amazing feelings and these impulses, because you can show her how you feel in other ways that are comforting, exciting, romantic, flirty, playful, without scaring her away. So you could send her a flirtatious text, the way you talk to her on the phone, how you look at her, telling her how you can't wait to see her, how you look out for her when you are together. She can tell by your behavior if you're really into the date, you're present with her, you're looking out for her, protecting her. Planning thoughtful dates, listening in that companionship, friendship, that intimacy goes a long way. Ask about her day, genuinely, so that you can start connect on that day-to-day level. She'll love that. Take your time with her and your pacing so that you truly get to know each other and aren't just riding the wave of lust and romance. Now, if you're letting 6 months go by without asking her to be exclusive, first of all, I can't believe she's still standing there if 6 months has gone by. But if neither one of you doesn't want to be exclusive after a few months, something's wrong, and one of you just really needs to admit what it truly is. Number 14, create an appealing online profile. Oh, this is so important, especially with your photos. You literally have 1 second to make an impression. Yeah, it's 1 second. Yeah. So not filling out your profile makes you look insincere, casual. You're not taking this seriously. Your kid did it. Your friend did it. I mean, it just makes a really bad impression. And you're trying to attract a quality woman here, not someone that just wants a weekend fling or casual dating, casual monogamy. So when you put very little effort into your profile, it looks like you want casual, but are saying you want relationship. And if it's blank, they really, you're just a swipe left. So focus on your photos. You need to have your primary photo needs to be the best one. And because we're such a poor gauge of what our best photo is, then make sure that you ask a friend, a neighbor, another female what your best photo is. And we go over this at length too, what a good profile looks like in the Dating to Connection program, because you've got to have great pictures without too many hats, too many sunglasses. You know, they need to be recent. There's just so many things to take into consideration. Number 2, you need to fill the profile out. We see what's missing, right? You only have 3 fields filled in and everyone else has 8. Why don't you want me to know the stuff that's not filled in? It's just suspicious. Yeah, don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure you fill in especially the heavy criteria that women are most closely looking at: children, what relationship status you seek, education, age, height, drinking, smoking, interest, location. Some of those are big deal breakers, and for some women, most of those are. So you want to fill those in. There's no point in wasting your time, her time. Number 3, take time with your description. That little part where you get to say about yourself, describe who you are, describe who you're looking for, what your life's like. On Match, you can make that like a zillion words long. Don't do that. Just like 2-3 short paragraphs are fine. Yeah. And then put anything in there that you know people always ask you or people assume about you. You want to throw those things, like clarify those things that tend to push women away so that you get more communications from different women. Number 15, always put your masculine energy in the forefront. This is the most important one. You have to have your masculine energy on. So remember that activity where I told you sit in the car before you go into a date? Yeah. So the biggest way to attract her and keep her and intrigue her is to put this in the forefront. This has nothing to do with how you look, how manly you are, your manly voice, the jokes you make. This has to do with a lot of subtleties that she's looking for, like being a gentleman, being confident. Remember, she's assessing her safety. If your masculine energy is not out there where she can sense it and feel it, it's not the energy you're exuding, it's going to make her feel unsafe and you're going to get friend zoned. Yeah, you'll be the sweet guy, the nice guy, but not someone that she wants to build a life with. Here's how she feels your masculine energy, the true you. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that men are making. Okay. She feels it in your energy. And that's why before you even get out of the car, you put your masculine energy on, not your work energy, not your parent energy, your masculine energy. Here's how she feels it. The way you greet her, right? The way you carry yourself, your confidence, the way you walk her to the table, the way you are to the staff. Oh, that's a big one, right? A lot of people notice that. The way you listen and converse, how you touch her. Did you help her on with her coat and that gave you a little, touch on the shoulder, or you put your hand on the small of her back as you walk through the restaurant to guide her? Do you hold her hand through a crowded dance floor so that you can get her off the floor safely? How you arrange future dates. Do you call her and say, I'd like to take you out on Friday at 6. Are you free? Here's the place I was thinking of. It's how you do it. It's not passive. It's pursuing. It's masculine. It's not putting her in the driver's seat. She wants to be the woman. And if you want a feminine quality woman, then you need to play the masculine role. Not that you can't have a partnership. I mean that you want someone feminine and lovely and attractive that's really into you. She wants you to be masculine and you want her to be feminine. How you handle awkward moments, right? That comes down to confidence. How you respond to difficult questions, being vulnerable, being open. Are you honest? How you talk to those about those close to you that you care about. How you talk about your exes. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you want to know. You pay attention to that with her too, right? Yeah, you do. So that is number 1. Number 15 is actually number 1. Let her see the true you. And that's what my whole program is about. Getting the true you to come out. Removing the cloak. Removing the backpacks. Or you will stay in the cycle you're in now, attracting the wrong kind of women and getting nowhere. Here's how to get in the masculine mind space before you even see her, because you need to do this every single time, or it's going to throw the whole energy of the date out of whack. And if she feels like she has to take on the masculine role, the whole date's going to seem off, and I don't want that to be your last date. So arrive early to your date so you have time to do this. It makes you feel calm and less anxious when you're early. Sit in your car, take deep breaths, and center yourself so you are present. You are excited to see her. Visualize how you want the date to go. That's going to get you even more excited, feeling more happy. Imagine what will go well with your date. What will happen that's positive, and what connection will you make, and what topics will you get into? Then text her and let her know that you've arrived. Another masculine trait, like you're letting her know the date is set up, you're there, you're waiting for her, you're ready for her. And then go inside 5 minutes early so you can greet her when she arrives. Yeah. This seems like a lot. It actually isn't, and it really will only take you 5 minutes, but it can make the biggest difference in a date. So you want to be sure you aren't bringing life's concerns into your date. So stuff from work, stuff from your kids, stuff from your friends. You have an ailing, relative that's in the hospital. So really try to be present in the date. That makes all the difference in the world. She'll know when you're somewhere else. No distractions. Turn off your phone. And if you find things going in the wrong direction, like you forgot to put your masculine energy on, or you got distracted again, take some more deep breaths, center yourself again, and change the conversation if needed to something more lighthearted and flirtatious so that your date gets back on track. Now, the problem is you don't know what you're doing wrong, or you would have fixed it by now. And don't feel badly, right? Because we all make mistakes and we're not all dating experts. So if you knew what you were doing wrong, you would have changed it. And likely, a lot of the women you've dated, if you only have first, second, and third dates, they aren't going to give you that feedback. You could ask them, and some people are going to be kind enough to give it to you, but because most men don't ask, they don't really know how to give that feedback. But it doesn't hurt to ask. Dating can be confusing, intimidating, feel like a lost cause. So are you really ready for love? Have you thought about that? I know you want someone, but are you ready for love? Because what you're doing right now isn't getting you there. Are you wishing you could share your nights with someone special? Are you tired of wasting years of time and money? Have you thought about that? How much years of time and money you've spent dating the wrong type of women? Oh, that's such an awful thing to think about, but it is important to think about because you will keep doing it if you don't make some major changes. Are you sick and tired of dating? Are you exhausted because it's the same pattern? It keeps ending up the same way. Are you losing hope that you will find someone right for you? So I can help. I have exactly what you need to get you to that long-term loving relationship. I've built this program for you. And it comes from all my dating experience as a woman, but my 30 years of training, my 20 years as a mental health professional, my 8 years as a dating coach, and watching guys through that are like you that are in the same cycle. You deserve love. Let's get you love. Let's get you someone. Let's get you a holiday partner, someone to wake up with in the morning, someone to go to celebrations with. You can have that loving, passionate, long-term relationship you crave. You deserve it. Imagine what your life would look like with her by your side. You would have someone to share all of life with and wake up with, fall asleep with every night. Are you ready to start making those memories? Are you ready to stop wasting years of time and money on the wrong women? So if you're ready to get started, I put the link below. So there you can get on the phone with me and we can talk about your love goals, where you're at, and if this program might be right for you. Okay, if the program's not right for you, I would tell you, because I know exactly who I designed this program for. So let's just get on the phone and chat and see where you're at. It's time to take charge of your love life and find her. This is your role. This is your masculine energy. The only reason that she can't see it is that cloak is on, right? You're putting out the wrong vibe, and that is why you're attracting the wrong women. That vibe, that cloak you have that's covering the true you is what's keeping you from recognizing her when she comes along. You've got to release all those things, and that's what the program does. To find her, you need to attract quality women who are relationship minded, because then you're coming at this dating from the same place. This is not simple as it would seem, which is why there's thousands of men in your position. Yeah. You can't just turn on a switch. So we all need help with things in life, right? Like I bet you use these experts, an accountant, a plumber, an HVAC tech. You've got degrees or training or education, right, that you've pursued to have the things that you really want, a mechanic, a financial advisor. Why aren't you investing in love, investing in yourself? Because doesn't that like fulfill all the rest of the facets of your life? That's the only one thing missing, right? So let me put my 8 years of dating coaching experience, my 20 years of experience in mental health, my 30 years of relationship research, and 2 master's degrees in counseling to work for you. Let's get there together. You are in very good hands. Again, there's the link. Let's schedule a call. Let's just chat. Okay? That doesn't mean you're signing up. That means we're getting on the phone to see if this program is right for you. We have a lot in common, you and me. I've been through divorce, starting over, a broken engagement, and modern dating. Do you really want a coach that's been married for 15 years or 25 years and hasn't done any modern dating, hasn't been online? You need someone that can relate to your journey, where you're coming from, what you've been through. Do you want a male coach that doesn't understand what a quality woman needs, what it's like to date a guy that hasn't gone through this course, that's getting friend zoned, that is not using his masculine energy? Are you ready to invest in yourself and in love? What's more important than love? I know you're craving it. I know you're missing it. I know you're wishing for it. I know you're thinking about it every day. This is your future. And you want to start dating the right kind of women to at least progress to that. This program would lead you to love. I developed the exact recipe you need to help find her and keep her. I got your back. So the Dating to Connection program can get you the love that you deserve. You'll be given a roadmap of how to find her, how to attract her, how to recognize her. You need to be able to spot her and go up and talk to her. How to build your new relationship so that you keep her and it progresses. This program is right for you if you feel ready for love. You do have to feel ready for love or you're not a good candidate for this program. You are ready to invest in your love story and ready to do the work needed to get there. So this is a progressive class with lots of things for you to go through to get that masculine energy to come out, to get the true you to come to the surface so she can find you. And you know what that else is going to bring you? Happiness, peace, all the things that we're going to go over in the Dating to Connection program are about love, but they're also about you. You as a man, your happiness, your confidence, which positively impacts all the other areas of your life. This is a life-changing program. She's waiting for you. She's waiting for you to show who you are so that she sees you. She wants to cheer you on, inspire you, celebrate holidays with you, love you, and cherish being in your arms. So let's do this. Let's get on the phone. Let's chat. I can't wait to talk with you about the love you hope for. Choose a time here. Just click the link. It'll take you right to my calendar. And I can't wait to talk to you. Thanks for attending this life-changing masterclass. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to talking with you soon.